Most of their annual profit is derived from the final weeks of the year before Christmas. This year, of course, the pandemic has forced shops to pull down the shutters. And now, on top of ailing sales figures, some independent shop owners in England are furious that their bigger rivals can exploit loopholes to suit themselves. Our correspondent Tygen Wright reports from London.
Christmas is the time of year when shop owners make most of their money. This year, for too many, the start of the season is passing them by. Husband and wife team Dominic and Priya have closed the doors on their small chain of gift shops in London.
Well, we've never felt as anxious as we are feeling right now because we're so close to Christmas and we've ordered so much Christmas stock.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a shock entering into a second lockdown, especially at this time of year.
They're coping by ramping up their website and appealing to customers to buy online. But it doesn't close the gap.
We still can't compare to what a normal Christmas would be like.
I think we're probably trading at about 1% of what we would be normally.
We've been in the business for 20 years, almost 20 years, and this could end up being the end of us.
The kind of things we buy for Christmas, gift items and clothes, are classed as non-essential, and these types of shops are closed. Unlike those selling food and medicines, which remain open. But what about those that sell both? In France, supermarkets have been told not to sell non-essentials and must stop shoppers who try to buy them. In England, shops can interpret the rules their own way. This nationwide chain of carpet shops has designated itself as an essential retailer. Carpetright said it reviewed the guidelines and decided to remain open because so many of its customers told them they needed their products to complete essential projects. Big chains have lawyers on staff to help make such decisions, an advantage their smaller rivals can't match.
The maximum fine is £10,000, which a large chain may well find easier as opposed to a small business. They are sticking to the law, they're not opening, they're seeing these other stores not break the rules, but interpret them in such a way that allows them to open.
Independent shops have been urged to embrace click and collect, but many are playing catch-up with online retail. The rules say that items must be purchased online in advance. Priya and Dominic don't understand why they can't simply sell from their doorway to passers-by.
We really do rely on passing trade in our shops. There are some people around, and it would be really nice if we were able to offer a service to them.
They hope the government's listening and will help them save Christmas so they can live on for another year. Tygen Wright, Euronews, London.
Well, joining us now is Christian Verschuhen, Director General at Eurocommerce, representing national federations and companies in the retail industry in over about 30 countries. Thank you very much for speaking to us. Let's just start with the example of what we've seen in the UK. Very similar rules to what we have in France. If you're selling essential products, you can stay open. If not, you're forced to close. Are those rules fair?
Good morning, Rosie. I think the issue of fairness, of course, is one of very, very important. I mean, retail is a very diverse business. You have small shops, very specialized. You have hypermarkets that sell a lot of goods, and you have specialized online retailers. It is very difficult to establish a single line to all of them. But what we have seen overall is that some of the countries, Germany, the Netherlands, the Nordics, have actually adopted a more liberal approach in a way whereby enabling all the shops to stay open, whilst at the same time applying very strict measures. We have learned quite a lot from the first wave in March, April, and retailers is ready to have the necessary safety measures. Distance, for example, no more than one customers per 10 square meters, like it is in Germany, a number of protective equipment. So you can do shopping or allow shopping and at the same time reduce considerably the risk of contamination. So it is true that I think what we have seen in some of the countries has also has caused a lot of debate about fairness, has also caused quite a lot of administrative quagmire. I mean, if you can sell the socks to a 2-year-old, but you cannot sell T-shirts for a 5-year-old and things like that.
I mean, some of the places you're talking about there don't have quite the high rates that we have seen. Let's say in France, the 4th highest number of infections in the world. The UK have just reported over 50,000 people dying with coronavirus. Is it really the answer to say, well, all shops should just be able to open their doors regardless of what they're selling?
Well, we're not saying that either, and in fact, we do respect the roles and the competence of the national authorities, or even very much the local authorities. In Italy, they have separated in 3 zones: a red zone, an orange zone, and a green zone, whereby measures are different depending on the severity of the disease. So in fact, this is totally respected and understood. I think health is the first and most important thing. But behind that, you can also look at ways whereby, also calling upon the responsibility of the players, of the retailers, to actually apply the necessary measures as well.
What advice would you give to us, the consumers, who could just go to the convenience of buying online, but many of us, and actually the governments have been saying, please support your local businesses. How can we best do that?
The challenge is what we see is that there is a tremendous lowering of consumer confidence. So the consumers are afraid to go out shopping, for health reasons, but also for economic reasons. People are afraid to spend. There've been a lot of savings. We have seen a number of countries doubling of the amount of savings, and nevertheless, people don't want to spend because they're afraid of the future, of potentially losing their job. So we are definitely encouraging to go online, but online cannot, compensate for the loss in the closed stores. And fundamentally, we are also encouraging people to go and shop locally, because the shops is very much essential for the vitality of town centers. They are part of the social fabric. So once you have the shops disappearing, the postal office disappearing, then actually the town centers die. So I think the shops plays a fundamental role in the fabric of our societies and of our town centers, and therefore it is essential to encourage also people to go to their local stores.